You'll be telling him to go to sleep soon. So just go to sleep, and he won't be going to sleep.
He will. No, he won't. He'll be up later than I will be. But hello, everyone.
Teenagers.
As Sid is enjoying his dinner, I have a very nice curry rice, making me jealous.
Courtesy. Yeah, courtesy of the missus.
Tonight's video, or DVD tonight, is the prize I won off Sid's channel. So make sure you subscribe to Sid, otherwise you'll miss out on goodies like this. Apart from that, Ricky got the Blu-ray, wasn't it?
Yeah, he got the deluxe edition Blu-ray.
Not that I'm bitter.
Coincidentally.
All right. But hang on.
Yeah, I've had this movie on like 3 different formats in the past. Now, all overall, because I had the VHS, and from the VHS I got the DVD. Actually, I got 2 VHSs because I had the original dubbed version, which was the VPD version.
Right.
With that Cockney voice to it. Yeah.
I love the Cockney ones, but that's distracting, but hilarious.
We got that really kind of 80s kind of dubbing. Yeah, I thought those dubbings were hilarious.
Yep.
And you could tell these guys, especially when you hear the voice actors, you could tell they're having fun. Just dubbing these movies.
Yes. Definitely. Did he really say that? Is that the literal translation? So, yeah, I was looking up earlier. This was released mostly like in 1986, but it didn't get a video premiere until 1999 in America. But
yeah, the thing is, it's because initially the film was released in 1986 in Japan to begin with, because coincidentally, it came out in Hong Kong in 1987. But that's because, like, back then, Jackie Chan's fan base in Japan was a hell of a lot bigger than it was what it was in Hong Kong. His movies always made big bucks in Japan. So at the time, Golden Harvest was thinking that, like, yeah, this is the best decision to make, is because people are going to be lining up and we'll be making a hell of a lot of money. And back then, Jackie Chan was their golden goose, because he was at that point where he was like literally making hit after hit after hit.
Oh yeah.
And he was like literally at the top of his game, and that's why they wanted to just hurry up and make the movie.
Because some places got the second film before they saw this one.
I think that was in America when they released it theatrically.
Yeah.
But I think the video was still available. I think the VPD version was somehow available in America at one point as well. But I know it was officially released in the UK because used to have all the Imperial Entertainment and VPD videos available for rental.
Okay.
That's where films like Wheels on Meals, Armour of God, Police Story was one of them, but that was, I think, Palace Video did that initially.
Okay. Let me get play on this, and then we'll kick off. If I can see my sensor. There we go. Right. If I can catch up on my copy. Right.
Yeah. Well, this is where he makes his entry. The only time that ever on film where Jackie Chan has had such short hair.
Yeah, that's because of the injury, wasn't it?
It was. And this part of the film, initially, there was another director attached to it, which was Eric Chang. And it was supposed to have been a completely different film. And they had actually shot some footage after this scene, but that never made it to the cutting floor because of you could still see Jackie Chan's injury, and his hair just looked absolutely ridiculous because he had part of it shaved off where he had actually had the injury. And it's funny how this is supposed to be some sort of like African tribesman or something.
Yeah.
But you could tell they clearly look like Asians, and you know, yeah. He took
15.
Yeah, because the guy who directed the Aces Go Places, Eric Chang, he had actually directed this scene. Yeah, he was the director assigned to it, but then he'd actually moved on to another project after Jackie Chan got injured.
All right. I thought there's boobies at the beginning.
Oh yeah, there's one of the very few instances where you'd actually get like some sort of female nudity in a Jackie Chan movie. Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't. Yeah.
Because his films were normally kind of avoiding that kind of nudity.
Yeah, I can't even.
Because, yeah. Oh yeah, this is it now. I mean, this was pretty much a very 80s kind of like an 80s set kind of homage to Indiana Jones, like Raiders of the Lost Ark.
You can definitely see that.
You know, you can see it from this movie, even in the second one as well, in Armour God 2 Operation Condor. And even like now, some of these shots that they had to do where you can't clearly see his face, they were actually using doubles. Jackie Chan had doubles used. That's because they had they could only be in Yugoslavia for a short amount of time, and Jackie was in hospital after that injury.
Yeah, okay. Let him off.
Yeah, that was the one time where they did use doubles for him, like in some of the shots in this scene.
Yeah.
And you can tell by the way some of these are edited, you can tell they were like in separate instances, like there's a different sequence that the original director had intended.
And the wobbly spears.
Oh no, yeah, the wobbly spears.
But yeah, that was the tree that he had at his accident, isn't it? Just then.
Yeah, earlier on, yeah. And yeah, and some of them are still. And this is funny though. It's like just the bit when he starts sliding down the grass hill. It's you'll see all of a sudden it's that after the cutaways happen, you can tell that they're not in the same place because that castle's gone from the top of the hill, and Jackie Chan's hair has just miraculously grown.
Yeah, I was watching the trailer, and you can see it even in that. It's a hell of a hill to sledge down in the grass.
Yeah, that was in Hong Kong. That wasn't in Yugoslavia. That was somewhere in Hong Kong. That's because of like they only had a short amount of time to actually shoot it.
They're shifting some.
I know. Well, considering that he almost lost his life in this movie, so you know. Yep, one of those detachable planes. Wow. You couldn't get more 80s than that. You couldn't get more 80s than that.
Oh, yeah. I keep forgetting there's a third Armour of God film, Chinese.
Oh, I would avoid that. That was Jackie Chan's return to directing, but like it just wasn't great at all. It was just such a letdown.
I don't know if I've seen it or not. Ripping off. I mean, Star Trek Into Darkness ripped this off.
Yeah,
in his plane, and I think the plane is God.
Oh yeah, of course. The 70s, yeah, the 70s band. Yeah. Oh no. That's a spoof of a band that his co-star Alan Tam. He was in a band called The Winners.
The Winners. Yeah, there it is.
That's like kind of like a cover of his song. Yeah, that's a cover of his song as well. And then you've got the European bad guys, which are like the staple of nearly a majority of the big 80s or even the small budget 80s Hong Kong movies. You would have that random selection of like European or American bad guys. They might have some of them had like really good martial arts training, and some of them would just manage to kind of like just be in the right place at the right time, and then they made it.
It also said that Cynthia Rothrock was going to be in this at one point.
Yes, she was meant to be. This was when the original director had it planned.
Okay.
Yeah, and now even this part here, this sequence, like for example, the musical number, and even this whole kind of like sequence, it was meant to be part of the original movie that Jackie Chan didn't direct. Which I think they must have shot this whilst he was in hospital as well, because back then it was a completely different type of movie The plot was a lot different from what was in mind. And Cynthia Rothrock was supposed to have a fight scene with Jackie Chan in this movie.
Okay. Yeah, that's something we never got, isn't it? Because she did Righting Wrongs instead.
I know she's Righting Wrongs, and she was also in Millionaires Express, aka Shanghai Express, which was with Sammo Hung.
Yeah, the amount of names these films have always confuses me.
And I think she also did that other one, Magic Crystal, with Andy Lau and Richard Norton was in that as well, around about the same time.
Yeah, doesn't ring a bell, that one.
It's kind of like a very kind of the plot and storyline and everything is very kind of silly. It's more of a very kind of obvious rip-off of E.T. and Mac and Me and such, like very kind of like that kind of storyline.
Okay.
Aiming to be a kids movie, but it had a lot of really tongue-in-cheek, like crude humor.
Oh, hang on, my sound's gone. Oh, that's back. Ha.
Oh yeah, yes.
Good evening,
Oh yes, Tarek. Hey Tarek, all right man, all good. Yeah, and look, this scene was a lot more violent than what you would normally see in Jackie Chan movies. Again, because this was directed by Eric Chang, this sequence itself. So
okay. Oh.
Yeah, man, all good.
Yeah,
yeah,
we're all enjoying some Jackie Chan here. Go on, will do when he turns up again.
I know. Exactly, because normally, even when there is like a shootout in a Jackie Chan movie, you don't see many blood squibs. This one actually had quite its fair share.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, Tarek. This is a very absolute bona fide classic.
Yeah, I think it was the sequel I saw first. I can't remember now. Because I don't know if I knew they were related, because the sequel I knew was Operation Condor on the VHS days. I don't know if Armour of God was mentioned in the titles. And
this was more or less a direct reference to The Godfather when Mo Green got killed, just shot in the glasses. that was just like pretty much directly. And yep, now this is when it becomes more or less Jackie Chan's movie as the director.
Let's see. Oh, I see. Yeah, it certainly isn't kiddie friendly. We've had boobs and blood already. Operation Condor.
Yes, I actually preferred the sequel to the original.
Yeah.
Because I think the sequel was a lot more. There's more action, and it was just. I think the comedy was just more full on. It was hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe the original dub of it, like the export dub that was done on the 90s VHS, that when it first came out, that dubbing was absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, I need to get more of Jackie Chan VHS. I haven't got many.
Oh, best of luck, man. They're going for a lot. eBay, especially
they would.
Those old VPD kind of like VHS cassettes with the boxes, the big box VHS. They're very expensive. And of course, this is when the leading lady makes her entrance, Lola Fauna or Maria Dolores Fauna, whichever way. Sometimes she has like different names going.
More of his films.
She's only done 2 movies with him, which was Wheels on Meals and Armour of God.
That's it. I couldn't remember. Yeah. It's a blonde in the sequel, isn't it?
Yes, it's a blonde Spanish lady.
Caucasian.
That's it, yeah.
So this is the only... Oh, look at that car. That's a car you want. Oh, no. Have we seen it?
Oh, as a kid, I've always wanted that. I was like, what is that car? I want that car.
It's awesome. You've seen dead in it now.
Just that. I know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, this was like, I think this was the second film that he had also shot in Europe as well.
Right.
At the time, because in '84 he did Wheels on Meals, which came out, and that was a huge hit, and that's why they kind of like decided to go for that same kind of thing over here.
Okay. Absolutely.
And,
a treat. Yeah.
And this was like pretty much that Jackie Chan was actually a huge star even in Europe. But he wasn't a big star in America because he had tried to kind of crack the American market prior to this on a couple of occasions with the Big
Cannonball
Brawl.
Run.
Cannonball Run, he was just a small role in that. That was a Burt Reynolds movie.
The Protector, which one's that?
Protector as well, yeah. Protector was his second attempt as a leading man.
He's a big buff guy in the poster, and his shirt's ripped off and totally muscular.
Yeah, and that was his second attempt to kind of like break into the Hollywood market.
Well, that was a more serious film, wasn't it?
It was, yeah, but I kind of think it was full of flaws. But some people see it as a fun grindhouse movie, but for me, it's okay. But when you watch it, it's very sloppily made, and the way that the director kind of like, because I've got the 88 films Blu-ray of The Protector, and the director kind of like reflects back on it because he doesn't really make any more movies at the moment. Because James Glickenhaus made a lot of very exploitation type of movies, like low budget exploitation. And then in his interview, I just found that he was very smug the way that he talked about himself. That he kind of spoke the way that he made movies. He kind of like he probably saw himself in the same vein as like someone like Martin Scorsese. And I'm like, dude, you weren't really on that level. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. You had like maybe a couple of small hits here, like Exterminator and such. But you know, that's about it really. That's the best we're gonna get from you. You know, nothing else you've done.
Looking forward to those. I won. His competition.
You won. Oh, what did you win?
A great big box of stuff. Batman stuff.
Batman stuff.
Right.
Awesome.
So have to get that on the weekend. That'll be great.
Yes, Alan Tam. He was one of the few original members of the cast that actually stayed on to the movie as well.
Right. Okay.
Because
is this France?
I think this is some of this is in France, some of it's in Croatia, and it's all over because they don't really kind of specify exactly.
No, I don't. I thought I missed a title or something, but no, there isn't, is there?
There isn't. No, there isn't no title in this, but yeah. I mean, coincidentally, this doesn't really have as many fight scenes like throughout the film in comparison to like most Jackie Chan movies, because it's just kind of like very condensed. But it's got like other type of action, like the car chase was really well done in this, and it's just kind of like bits and bobs of comedy, like kind of comedy here, and that's about it. But it kind of still flows pretty well. It's actually a very fast-paced movie.
It is. It's real. It says it's less than an hour and a half, isn't it?
It's an hour and a half, but it just flies by really quick. Yeah. And I know it was pretty smart, like in terms of like keeping him on for the casting, because wow, you won the Prodigal Son and Warriors 2.
I'm all right.
The Wing Chun box set. Wow.
That's my weekend. Thank you very much.
I still have the Hong Kong Legends DVD for Duel to the Death, and I'm looking to actually upgrade to the Blu-ray because I heard the Blu-ray release is really good, and that film is absolutely incredible.
Cool.
Duel to the Death is like yeah.
I don't think I've seen it. Oh, I think I've seen Prodigal Son.
Oh, wow.
Got my DVD set too fast. Just turned up at the gates. Right, there we go.
Yeah.
There we go. Right, caught up again. Although that's German.
Yeah, I know, that's like German. I think that this part might be supposed to be a German count, but
okay.
Yeah.
No. Oh, sorry. The Blu-ray slaps. It's got a good transfer. Okay, that's good.
Yeah, they're good. It's a good transfer. Yeah.
Lovely.
Oh yes. All those dogs. He's like, dude, seriously, for two guys?
Yeah. You
can tell the guys are coming there with a smile, like, yeah, we're on the movie.
They just dressed up the dog trainers.
I know. Now, if you can ever get hold of the the deluxe Blu-ray of this film.
All right.
Yeah, and it's actually got a feature where one of the language tracks is you can actually have when the actors are actually speaking Chinese, they're speaking Cantonese, but English actors they all speak in English in their scenes. Yeah, which is actually quite interesting. It's an interesting way to watch it because I've only either watched it fully in English or fully in the original
Yeah, I guess they
Cantonese
just
language.
dub whichever country they need to swap them. So
Yeah, because back then Hong Kong movies that weren't made with sync sound. They were
no.
They were all dubbed later on because a majority of like Jackie Chan's movies is that, especially the ones during the 80s, you never heard his real voice.
Okay. I've seen this bad guy before. Oh, good.
I know he was in the second Armour of God as well.
Ah.
Yeah, but I don't really recognize him anywhere else. So he's not the bad guy. He's like the Count.
Ah.
Yeah, he's like who has the pieces of Armour of God.
Right.
Yes, and even like Alan Tam himself, like of course we knew Jackie Chan was a huge star, but even Alan Tam was like a huge like music superstar.
Right.
He was like as big as Michael Jackson was in the West, as he was. That's how big he was in Asia at the time. Oh yeah, definitely.
That's true. Yeah,
starting to feel very familiar now.
Because what's the song? Isn't there a song at the end? Is it? Fly to the Dragon.
There is.
That's
in the that was on the original VHS. I think on the Hong Kong Legends DVD they used the song Lorelei, which was sung by Alan Tam. Yeah.
Ah, right. And then there's Midnight Rider as well, which is
that was the one that was in the actual movie when you saw the kidnapping scene and
right.
the Caucasian guys in the very Middle Eastern outfits come and let loose with their AKs. Yeah.
Just they had the towels with the string around them, just so you know.
I know, because the original idea that Eric Chang had, who also directed Aces Go Places, his idea for Armour of God was that there was supposed to have been it's like a conflict between the Muslims and the Christians.
All right.
And somehow when Jackie Chan kind of got out of the whole hospital, started filming again, he kind of felt that the material was rather insensitive to both religions. You don't want to disrespect anyone. Okay. So he kind of just scrapped that idea, thinking that is a bit too kind of, you'd rather respect everyone. So he kind of, you could have just left it to Chuck Norris. It could have been
Delta Force.
Exactly. It could have been maybe, one of the umpteenth sequels to Delta Force, which were like a pile of wank anyway. But the first one was the only good one in the whole movie. All movies. I think the first one was the best out of all the Delta Forces. But then this sequence here, it always makes me laugh. It just looks like someone just shot like all those really poor school plays with the historical kind of like
it does look like a lot of cheap shot at night in a car park or something.
Exactly. But that was the brilliance of his films, because Jackie Chan's movies, especially during the 80s, a lot of his movies were very small budget, and they just had a really big return on investment, not just on the domestic box office, but also when it comes to other Asian markets, his bigger markets being Japan, which was a lot bigger than what he made in Hong Kong. Bearing in mind these films were not released in mainland China at the time on cinemas, and also in South Korea, he had a really big fan base there as well.
Okay.
And then even Europe, he was actually quite big in Europe too.
Yeah. I think I didn't see many of his films until the 90s. I think Channel 4 and BBC Two had late night specials of his.
Yes, Channel 4 played a hell of a lot, but I think, considering I'm 37 now, so I was maybe in my I I was in my early years when I first saw Jackie Chan, because
Okay.
the video shops, the local ones, which are run by usually some Indian or Pakistani guys in Birmingham. I mean, they had a bunch of Bollywood movies, a bunch of Hollywood movies, like all the latest releases on VHS, and they also had loads of they had loads of these Jackie Chan movies, like the VPD VHSs and such. And they used to have they had more of a selection of like Chinese martial arts movies dubbed in English than most of these big chains like Blockbuster did. And that's why if you went there, you'd always find these movies, like these classic ones. And we were just exposed to them because I watched Enter the Dragon when I was a kid, and that kind of hooked me onto like martial arts movies. And then Jackie Chan kind of like, my uncle kind of introduced me to him. I think the first one we watched were either Police Story or Drunken Master. They were the first two Jackie Chan movies we watched, and then yeah, we just became. I just kind of like became hooked because we found out that. Oh yes, come on! Everybody's uncle. Everybody knew an uncle who ran one of those local video shops. you know, it's like they had like they used to do bootlegs. They used to do bootlegs as well, like of films that came out in the cinema. They used to, and they had those special tapes just under the counter that specific people would rent.
Children's films. You're talking about children's films, Disney rip-offs.
Yeah, this is before before the YouTube was available. Before online. Yeah. Yes, I agree, Tariq. I mean, that was the place to go. All those martial arts movies. There's a bunch of the Shaw Brothers movies which were released by Warner Brothers that we had, and oh yeah, this is like the Jackie Chan, the Jackie Chan his dream sequence. Yeah,
because my video shops. I was in the countryside of Wales, and they barely had any videos. I was lucky to get Rocky 3 and Blade Runner, but so anything martial arts was hard to come by.
Oh my days. Now, one of the coolest things was that, like, at one point, because they were able to, like, they used to get like maybe 2 or 3 copies of the film that were when they were brand new movies, and you could rent them. And then eventually, what they would do is they would actually sell some of the ex-rental tapes. And I had actually purchased. I had crates full of ex-rentals. I did. I had like, with the box, with the original big boxes as well.
Oh no!
I mean, you know how you see your collection? Mine was not as behemoth as that, but like I had like a really fairly decent collection of like VHS.
No. Where are they now? Come on. Where's your fortune?
I know it could have been a fortune. I had a lot of these old Jackie Chan movies on VHS as well, and I gave them to a charity shop because this was like before I knew that they were going to hold some sort of monetary value.
Yeah,
I would have held on to them, and I would have actually, because I know collectors, especially when it comes to the, yes, Tariq has mentioned that. Yeah, the regulars behind the counter movie. Yeah.
Brown paper bag, please.
Yeah, or just 2 letters on the white sticky label on the Scotch label. Yeah, just a couple of little squiggles. Like, you know what movie it is. Oh my days!
Oh. Oh.
Wow, that's a classic right there, Tariq. That is a classic on the street. The original VHS. I mean, as much as the quality of those movies has actually completely diminished over time, because when you watch the Shaw Brothers, Warner Brothers movies that were released on VHS, the English dubs, the full screen, and the colors look very washed out in comparison to when you watch them on like the remastered DVDs or even the Blu-rays. When you see the quality of like the color, the richness, and you can only appreciate those films a lot more. They were well-made movies.
Right, because we seem to be spending a lot of time in this Blaine's house.
Yeah, because they're trying to kind of like get him to loan the armor of God so they can actually rescue Jackie's kind of ex-flame. Oh, the girl that friend zoned him for the other guy, Alan. For the guy Alan.
Right.
Yeah, that's it. They were seen as like the kung fu movies, especially like back then, was seen as like the B movie kind of like genre.
All right. Oh,
You know, it wasn't really by the West. It wasn't really appreciated as well as they should have been. The treatment they got wasn't that great. But then it was pretty much when Jackie Chan finally broke the Western market with Rumble in the Bronx, and then moved on to Rush Hour. But then coincidentally, it was a year after Rush Hour. Well, not even 6 months after Rush Hour, when The Matrix was released. You had like a Hong Kong style martial arts action in a science fiction movie, and then the following year or so, you had an Oscar-winning martial arts epic, which was Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. And it's only then that people started kind of like revisiting a lot of the martial arts movies in that genre, and realizing that there's a lot of gold to be found. And thankfully, one of the companies that kind of started the appreciation before the Blu-rays was Hong Kong Legends. I mean, their releases have been absolutely fantastic for a lot of the movies that have actually that came out in the year 2000s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When did he get his Mitsubishi dealership?
Oh, he must have got that like probably in the early 80s.
Yeah,
very early 80s, because even in if you'd watch like films like Wheels on Meals, that was where you'd also had the there was a big kind of like neon sign of Mitsubishi in the middle of that boss. And even every vehicle that they would be driving would coincidentally be a Mitsubishi.
All the good vehicles.
Yeah, all the good vehicles would be Mitsubishi, and including the van that turns into a
oh yes,
the van that turns into a kind of like a eatery kind of like thing. And I'm like, oh, back then everyone thought, wow, that's such a good idea. I mean, I live just down the Villa Park, and I'm thinking, yeah, match days, they could always just kind of put that up in the day. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, what is that?
It's supposed to be Chinese butter, which kind of, but I don't know why. It's like the one that he gives her is like it's not really. He goes, oh, it's off, and this is kind of. I'm thinking like, well, like, it's like back then I didn't think that. I was like, well, then I was like, oh, okay, because it's kind of got like a distinct, one of those acquired taste things that is when it comes to like Chinese people, like their culture. There are certain things that they eat. Not everyone would eat them, but then, yeah. I know, yeah, and there's the lovely former Miss Spain, Lola Fauna, again.
Oh, no problem, Jason. Thanks for stopping by.
Yes, hey.
What is it?
Hey, Jason.
Early evening,
J-Man.
Afternoon for Jim. Afternoon, J-Man.
Yeah, it's,
no
it's
problem.
just past 9 o'clock for us, so
yeah. No problem. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
No, he doesn't like it.
Yeah. No, he's clocked on. He's saying that it's off, and he's like, oh, because I'm eating butter. And he's like, oh wow, okay, that's just kind of like a cruel prank. Yeah. Like, oh shit, I'm caught. Oh dear. Yeah, that's it now. It's just
couldn't get a big enough Mitsubishi badge for that car, could he?
You couldn't find anything bigger than that. No, it had to be apparent because when you see some of the kind of memorabilia for some of his movies, you'd see that there's always been Mitsubishi, like the police story movies and whatnot, and so on and so forth. And the biggest one is if you've ever seen a movie called Thunderbolt from 1995. That film itself, it's like he's playing a mechanic who ends up kind of like has to end up entering an actual race. Who's really good at race car driving, and that film is like pretty much a giant advert for Mitsubishi. Because they even shot it in with because I think it was either the Evo 2 or the Evo 3, I think it was, which was actually the car that was actually conceptualized by Jackie Chan as well. Is based on his concept, the Mitsubishi Evo 2. That's how big his kind of affiliation with Mitsubishi Motors was, and thinking, wow, and come on, to get to the point where you actually kind of help kind of come up with the idea for a Mitsubishi Evolution, and that's like, wow. It's just funny. It's like, the monks who, when it comes to that, they can conveniently speak Cantonese.
Don't you?
Very, very,
I
very,
pass.
very. I can pass with very few things because I learned maybe a few phrases from my Chinese friends and such, but then that's about it. I mean, mind you, I've had like Chinese friends in the past. They've learned my own language, which is like Urdu and Punjabi kind of mixed, and
okay.
Yeah, but as most as every mature person would, you'd always start off by learning the swears.
Yeah, that's the easiest thing to learn, isn't it?
Exactly.
The most.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, they're trying to kind of take him, but then, exactly. Yeah.
Oops. I remember this bit where he's actually shooting everything wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's there just showing off. You're like, hey, look at me, hey.
There we
go. Yeah. Well, no, just when I remember the first time seeing that. Oh yeah, it's finally we get to see Jackie Chan kick some ass, but he doesn't really do much. You hear more of the fight scene and actually see it. And then. And that's the thing, though. It's like when it comes to like even not just the car chases, even normally his on foot chases are actually really kind of thrilling in his movies as well. He just puts all these things into like prime example being Project A, where it's just him running through the streets trying to avoid the bad guys with his girlfriend and then Sammo Hung as well, which kind of leads on to like a bicycle chase through like these narrow streets, and then
the bicycle seat scene.
And then it kind of ends with a huge fight scene with a kind of a brief fight scene with him and Sammo Hung against the bad guys in a tea house, and then just crazy stunts where he kind of ends up with him kind of hanging up a clock tower in reference to Harold Lloyd's safety last. And even for Hong Kong standards, now this scene itself was done with like when you rewatch it, you think, wow, the way that it was edited and the way that the scene was actually kind of like done in terms of like the coordination of like the cars and the motorcycles. I mean, this is just amazingness. It's like this is just absolutely just so well coordinated and everything's just so cool. And you're thinking, wow, this is actually, I would say definitely possibly one of the best like Hong Kong car chases, without a doubt. Definitely, this is, one of the prime examples of great kind of stunt work. And it's funny how like some of these guys are supposed to be European. You could clearly see that some of these guys are Chinese stuntmen. It's like, oh yes, this is a cult that also kind of like recruits internationally as well. They're set in Europe, but don't worry, they got some Chinese people there too. Yeah. I know, this is just amazing. It's like just
I know. Then you've got about 10-foot drop. Hopefully there was a pad underneath.
Yeah, I mean, bearing in mind these guys, they had like very little safety and even insurance when it comes to injuries and such. I mean, Jackie Chan had to pay them out himself because I think it was after the incident from the first police story where 3 stuntmen were really badly hospitalized that no one would ever insure Jackie Chan or his team of like stuntmen because they kind of felt it was too much of a risk. They felt that it was going to be like, so he would actually foot the bill himself. Like anyone who's injured goes to hospital, he'll pay him. He'll pay for it himself. Wow. Exactly. Ouch. Yep. And it's just the way that the car kind of skids and such, like, it just kind of screeches and wow, it's just so cool. And even the bad guys are kind of like riding like on Mitsubishi cars, like the Shogun, like the Jeep is a Mitsubishi, and yet the turbo boost. He's like always wanted a car like that. I thought, wow, this is. I think as a kid, that was the first time I saw something like a car, the exhaust kind of just blowing out, kind of flames. Yeah, that is so cool. He's going fast. Yeah. And this is almost as similar to like a shot from like Wheels on Wheels when he kind of like when he goes up a ramp.
Yeah.
He crosses over. It's pretty much
the
very similar
80s ramps they have everywhere.
Yeah. and they crash into like boxes of oranges and such as well. It's very similar. I mean, that shot's about to come up now, so yeah.
And then you look at stuff like John Wick 3 and then all the motorbike stuff done on green screen.
Yeah, that scene with the motorbikes where the guys had the samurai swords, that was pretty much very similar to a scene from a Korean film which came out a couple of years before called The Villainess, which I do recommend. Now, this is the shot that was actually pretty much very similar to what you saw in like Armour of God.
Yeah.
There
he goes.
Wheels on Wheels. Sorry, and Wheels on Wheels is very similar. Yeah, those guys ended up kind of exploding. The bike part of exploding. How convenient.
I just saw the camera on the side of the car when it landed.
101.
Used it for that. Yeah. You missed the boxes. But the VW explodes anyway.
Yep.
Oh, hi, Al. How are you doing?
Hey, Al. Fu Manchu. Must be my beard that I'm growing.
Rubbing. It's fiendishly.
He's singing the song Kung Fu Boy by Ash. Kung Fu by Ash, which is on the Rumble in the Bronx credits as well. Yeah.
Where am I?
How do I know that? How do I know that? Because it's one of the songs on my workout playlist.
Get you pumped.
Yeah, it does. And this is when the scene when the Mitsubishi gets blown up.
One of those A-team cars that blows up.
Yes. What makes me laugh is just the downgrade that they kind of like almost resort to after this, like that car's gone.
Yeah, I didn't pick it up. But now I'm gonna have to listen to it.
And yes, there's one things that Hong Kong movies, especially in the 80s, they never did was subtlety. Now, especially now when you come to see this character, the waiter, who's like overly flamboyant and effeminate. And, but here's the thing: yes, with a limp wrist and such, and very overly camp. I mean, camper than any Carry On movie. And that's the thing, though, is that if someone was a homosexual character in a Hong Kong movie, especially in the 80s and 90s, he was overly, he was gayer than gay, you know? He put Dale Winton to shame. You know, it's like Graham Norton ain't got nothing on that guy. They were just so overdone. It's just crazy. And you look back and thinking, wow, do you really think something like this would have flew today? No. They would have been up in arms about it. They would have been like, no.
Show us now.
Yeah.
I'll be back in a second.
Okay, cool. Okay. Wow. Oh, Sid takes the reins whilst Gareth does his dad duties. Yeah, no, this is how they infiltrate infiltrate the cult to actually get into their castle. And again, it's just so silly, but yet so much fun. I mean, it just points out the fact that in the movie world, this is where it kind of becomes very well. Just everyone just doesn't seem to bat an eyelid that in this kind of predominantly white culture, you've got these two Asian guys in their in their robes who managed to kind of jump on board of this actual this truck full of let's just go for a politically correct term, sex workers. Yeah, that's it. And then she is one of them, and of course she meant to stand out, considering she kind of looks strikingly more beautiful than the others. Yep. He takes advantage. Again, I don't think that would have flew today as well. It's like, unfortunately, apparently back in them days, the just to have a robe over your head would be enough to just disguise who you really are. No one. Yeah, and now he's got his hood off, and he's just letting these ladies just go past. And
Great.
Okay.
This one. Thank you for covering me.
Yes. So now here we are. Now.
The big finish. Or the big middle.
Oh, this is the middle. This is when you get to see the bad guys later. And again, which is pretty funny, that they're all actually praying on like what appears to be they're bowing down on these Muslim prayer mats. I know this because I've got one at home, so I know I use it, so I know I can recognize what it is.
Yeah, where are these caves for real? Does it say?
I think it was either in I think we're in Croatia or but former Yugoslavia, because Slovenia or something, or because former Yugoslavia, because Yugoslavia just kind of split into all these different countries. So these guys, devoutly religious types that all of a sudden they're all they have to do is just see some women, they're like, ooh. Oh.
Yeah, they always have these cloaks that you can sneak in with, and so no one recognises you.
I know. I just mentioned it as well. It's like they didn't catch on that there's two Asian guys in a cult full of nothing but white guys. It's just, wow. They're just supposed to sneak in. Like, we would have noticed. Yeah, it's an 80s movie.
Nah, yeah.
But that was that's the charm of this film as well, because back in them days, they never had to be serious or technically so proficiently well made, but there's just still a lot of fun.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, even the best films, you can pick up massive holes in.
Of course,
you can, but he still doesn't take away what a good entertainment they are.
Yeah, and in some of the shots there, you can actually see those prayer mats.
Yeah.
Yes. Must have been some props from the previous the initial Armour of God movie that they had in mind. They thought, we're going to use this. Might as well make use of them now.
We bought them, might as well have them.
Exactly, might as well use them.
It's probably the same set as Project A, isn't it? That ended up in caves and somewhere, didn't it, at the end?
Could have been. I think that's the ending. I think a lot of the ending was actually shot in a studio in Hong Kong. It was just the exterior shots that was sort of shot in Europe. And
Yeah.
yeah. And yeah. I mean, it would have made sense for Cynthia Rothrock to actually be in this movie because she was pretty much filming a lot of movies at Golden Harvest at the time as well. So yeah, but then I guess she was too busy after Jackie Chan got a hole in his head.
Yeah, was it a thimble? He's still got a thimble-sized hole in his head and hard
I
of hearing in
know.
one ear, it says.
Oh yeah, the lovely Rosamund Kwan. Yeah, one of the foremost leading ladies from that time. Even though she didn't really do much in this movie, but yeah, when you watch her in some other movies that you could, she actually was a very talented actress. But then, I mean, I think at the beginning of her career, she was pretty much just sidelined to just being the damsel in distress or just the pretty face. Considering that she had like a huge male following, they thought that let's just put her in a movie. You know, that's what it was. She's just there to kind of stand and look pretty.
Probably better than the Jackie Chan's girlfriend in the Police Story films.
Yeah, but coincidentally, Maggie Cheung, she had actually gone on to become one of the most acclaimed actresses from Asia, and yeah, because she was kind of like doing a lot of comedies beforehand. Like she's just
Okay.
known for making comical movies, but then she kind of there was a movie called As Tears Go By, which was a kind of a drama set around the Hong Kong underworld, and
Okay.
it's kind of like it was very kind of character driven story, and her acting in that movie was kind of like what kind of it kind of broke through. Like people kind of saw her as more than just eye candy. Even, coincidentally, she looked really good in that movie, and she never wore any makeup in As Tears Go By, and she actually looked really striking. But then she was able to kind of then branch out because it was directed by Wong Kar-wai, who also directed her in films like In the Mood for Love, which was a very acclaimed, accomplished film, which kind of won films awards at like the Cannes Film Festival and such as well.
Okay.
And at Cannes, but yeah. Oh yeah, this is the old guy trying to get some.
Yeah, I love his
with Lola Paula. I know, it's just got this spiked up like that. I'm thinking,
look like a bald Wolverine.
I know. Or I could maybe I'm thinking this guy's hairstyle. I think maybe that's where they got the inspiration for the character Heihachi Mishima from the Tekken games.
Yes.
Yes, because he has them just
He
the
does,
temples there just got spiked up. Yeah.
Well, yeah, they got the inspiration from somewhere, don't they?
Yes. Mm. Yeah. No, this is just the kind of like the very. It's like Three Stooges, Lauren Hardy type of comedy that they had in this film as well. But everything seems to work so well because it's such an '80s film.
Yeah.
It just has such a very distinct '80s kind of feel to it. Mm. Yeah. So yeah, get your punch in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here we come. The white Heihachi Mishima. That's what I'm going to refer to him from now on. The white Heihachi Mishima.
Because his face looks like what's this Hellboy? Who was the Hellboy actor?
Ron Perlman.
Yeah, I see that in his face here, but yeah.
Oh, I forgot the guy's name because I know he had actually featured in quite a few other Hong Kong movies as well.
Okay.
As like kind of these really small, like smaller movies, and he was like a kind of an actual martial artist and stuntman as well. Yeah. Forgot his name for the life of me. I forgot that guy's name.
Not just me that forgets that.
Yep, even me. I forget things a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Tomorrow morning I can tell you everything about it.
The way he just kind of walks in, carrying like spreading them like wings.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
Planning on doing with them.
Yeah, coincidentally, there was a 2x4 just left there.
Always lying around castles, aren't they?
Yes, they were just lying around, especially when there's a room being guarded. It's just a spare 2x4, just leave it there, and we'll just act like we don't know what's going on, even though the door's open and.
Yeah, the hardly whispering.
Yep. And yep. Oh, yeah, that's it. It's like, it's made. Yeah. He said, I can only take on 2, but then you have to take on the rest. He's like, because you're just useless. Oh yeah, just smack with the keys in the head. He's not playing the bumbling fool in this movie. Yeah. That's all he is.
They could scratch. Those keys.
Yeah, exactly. A little scratch. That's it. Oh no.
This should be such an easy. Get it.
I know, yeah. When something is too easy, there's I'm sure there's something wrong.
Yeah. But she's on drugs.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, she's been brainwashed.
Yeah.
Yeah. But she's supposed to go for Jackie and kind of get him on their side to become part of the cult. Well, that's the thing though. The other actor, Alan Tam, that's one of the roles he's always played as the bumbling sidekick in a lot of the films.
Right.
That kind of suited him. But then there are a couple of movies where he's trying to do like the serious kind of stern roles. There is one movie which is it's called The Dragon Family, which is a kind of like a Hong Kong kind of like a rip of like The Godfather mixed with John Woo's A Better Tomorrow.
Oh dear.
And it just that movie it's a great movie, great action, but it's just Alan Tam playing this. Is supposed to be playing this really kind of badass assassin, like right hand man for the mob and stuff, and like where he's just a stone cold killer. He just wasn't convincing. I don't think it was on Facebook where Frank Zheng, who's part of the New York Film Festival, saying that he had actually seen that film in. He saw that film in Hong Kong because the audiences were actually laughing at the fact that he was actually playing someone so stern and serious because they couldn't accept it either. The film was kind of like somewhat a moderate success considering it was made on quite a shoestring budget, but it's just definitely full of some ballistic action sequences. Yeah.
Bless him.
Yep. I know, and then you have this kind of like confusion scene going on in a bit, and then that's about it, really.
Yeah.
And then that's when the real stuff begins. The real action starts is towards the ending when he goes back to the cave. It was this, yeah. I mean, despite its flaws, I mean this film is just so much it's just so much fun.
Yeah.
Because everything kind of goes well. Because even though the movie is kind of full of like these kind of like, it's got a bit of a hokey feel to it, but it just kind of mixes really well. Even though when the action kicks in, it's completely top tier level kind of action filmmaking. But then in terms of fight choreography and stunts and whatnot. But then yeah, even it's just everything kind of like just kind of blends in together, because that's the kind of movies that were being made, like especially in Hong Kong back then. They would cover every genre.
Yeah.
They'd have an action movie with comedy, a bit of romance, or a bit of suspense. Everything would normally be like thrown in, because it was just a big crowd pleaser. And this was actually his highest grossing film of all time up until the 90s. Yeah, up until the 90s, this was his highest grossing movie in Hong Kong.
Because he made a lot in Australia in the 90s. He made a lot of films in Australia in the 90s.
He did a couple in the 90s. Yeah, he did First Strike. Some of that was shot in Australia, and so was Mr. Nice Guy. But they were both Hong Kong productions. But Mr. Nice Guy was the only one which was almost entirely in English. Majority of the language was English in Mr. Nice Guy. Yeah, I watched that on the weekend as well, because I got the Blu-ray from HMV, which is the Warner Archive. It's got the extended edition, and it was that film again. It's a very B movie type of feel in comparison to the normal Jackie Chan films. Very B movie feel to it, but it's just so much fun. Even though you don't mind the bad Australian acting. From like the supporting roles, that the really kind
people
of like,
that couldn't get on Neighbours.
Yeah, the really kind of like stilted dialogue, and even the bad guy, Richard Norton, he's having so much fun in that movie. I mean, I've always been a fan of him, but whenever he's actually appeared in movies, he's always done a great job. And being
in Rumble in the Bronx?
Who, Richard Norton? No, he's in. He was in City Hunter. He was in City Hunter, and he appeared in a movie called Twinkle Twinkle Lucky Stars with Jackie Chan. Briefly, but Sammo Hung he had the main end fight with, and also he had appeared in Millionaires Express, and also that film The Magic Crystal with Cynthia Rothrock, and he's in China O'Brien as well.
That's it. I'm thinking of I just got China O'Brien and Martial Law on VHS.
He's in. I think he's in Martial Law as well. Richard Norton. I'm sure he is.
Yeah,
haven't seen that film for such a long time. Martial Law, wow. Because I know it's been released on Blu-ray or something, but like I'm thinking,
maybe I can't find many of her films on Blu-ray.
Righting Wrongs is going to be released soon by 88 Films. That's coming out.
That's one thing I remember. Because I looked at this VHS of Martial Law, and what does it say? The full title. It's got So the film, it's called Martial Law, but then it's got a subtitle called "The Latest Weapon in Urban Warfare," and it's on the label for the tape as well. I thought, fuck, it's a massively long title.
Wow.
And it's an 18 as well in this country. Probably like a
it was. I remember. Yeah, I remember. It's like everyone thought, wow, Cynthia Rothrock, it's at 18. Oh, it's Martial Law. It's got the word martial in it. Thinking, this is going to be awesome. This is going to be awesome. That was just enough reason to watch the movie. You think, that's it. I'm going to watch this movie.
What did I watch the other night? Where she's a psychic in the 90s film, where she...
I can't remember. It's like, I think... Is it the one with that guy from... Is the one from the guy from, Kurt McKinney? He's in that as well.
Yeah. And she's a psychic. I didn't realize she gets topless in it. a few scenes, and
I think that was one of the main reasons a lot of people watched it.
Yeah, definitely.
But overall, Cynthia Rothrock should have been a much bigger star than what she actually was, because she was so incredibly talented. She had the looks, she had the presence. And her ability was absolutely incredible. I mean,
she was.
Yes, and you could tell her kicks did hurt from when you watched the movies that she did, and those kicks look painful, especially when if you could get hold of the the Eureka Blu-ray of Millionaires Express, and that was the film where she actually fought Sammo Hung, and she was like saying that, yeah, first she was a bit worried about whether she would hurt someone, and then people were like, oh, just more power, more power. And she loved it. The fact that she was Hong Kong movies, they would let her just kind of like just kick hard or hit people really with full power.
If she kicks someone, they go flying. You can believe that they didn't use cables or anything to pull them.
I wouldn't. I wouldn't be surprised because she just had that ability. And that's what I'm thinking. At this time, especially in the 80s, I mean, Cynthia Rothrock was absolutely like she was smashing. She was killing it in Hong Kong, and she should have been in Hong Kong. But God, because to see her in a Jackie Chan movie, that would have actually been absolutely epic.
Yeah.
I mean, the one thing that I think was a missed opportunity was probably in the 90s when Jackie finally broke through into Hollywood, was to actually make a movie with Jean-Claude Van Damme. I think that movie, that was a great movie that never happened.
Yeah. I guess it's all contracts and egos.
Not necessarily egos. I mean,
but I'm thinking of like Marnie and Sly making a film together. That's
I know, but what's his name? Even though Van Damme had an ego, but he's actually a huge fan of Jackie's films, and I mean, there's even a picture. I think maybe it was from like one of the Planet Hollywood kind of like promotional events. We actually got both of them, like young Jackie Chan and Van Damme, like youngish, both kind of like just posing for a picture. I'm thinking, and people kind of at that time when that image was released, that Jackie Chan was actually standing next to Van Damme, and they just kind of just posing, having a good time, and then everyone thinking, wow, are they going to make a movie together? Are they going to make a movie together? I was like, oh my days. This would be so epic. Yeah, I mean, Van Damme did have kind of like a bit of an inflated ego where he did make it difficult for, especially when he made A Hard Target. He made it pretty difficult for John Woo because he got his own editor to kind of like edit the movie to suit his needs. Saying it's a Van Damme movie and people only want to pay to watch Van Damme.
Yeah, it's a shame.
I mean, I would have just stayed quiet. If I was Van Damme, I probably would have just stayed quiet. So, you know what? Let John Woo do what John Woo does. He's going to make a great movie because he probably would have been kept on for maybe a couple of more.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could have just had a great time with him. But instead of trying to direct the movie yourself, I mean, come on. Yeah.
Right. Where are we?
This is where he gets vaccinated. Yeah. He's got the booster shot now. Was that Pfizer?
There's a big air bubble in there.
Yeah. Now this is where like pretty much this is the third act of the film is the best part of the movie.
Yeah, because it's nearly half an hour as well, isn't it?
I know.
It's a lot of ass kicking.
Yeah. That's it. And, we got him on a dirt bike. Yep.
Here he goes.
Yes. Fun fact: the reason why Jackie Chan was always chewing gum in this movie was he had actually quit smoking.
There you go.
That's why he was always kind of like eating chewing gum. And then he made that into a characteristic for his character.
Yeah, there's that end scene where he's trying to catch it for about.
He does that. The amount of times I did that, and I've had like little Wrigley's extras just hit me in the eye.
Yeah.
Yeah. Zoom it through. And
everyone copied that when I saw this.
Yeah, and then he even carried that over to the sequel, Operation Condor, as well.
Oh, bloody hell, that's high.
Yeah.
It's where he invents base jumping, isn't it?
Yeah. And then, yep. And then that's it. Yeah, he came prepared.
Yeah, that's all
the way.
It's not just a piece of rope tied around a tree. It's proper. Here we go.
Heavy duty stuff. Yeah, that's it.
Oof.
I know. Yep. Well, safety first, isn't it? So, yeah.
There he goes.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh, yeah. Sorry, Dutch. Missed that. My mic was in the way.
Hey, Dutch.
Yeah. Some Jackie Chan's
Yeah,
about to
man.
kick off.
Yep. The best part of the movie.
Although, where is he? And why is he doing this?
Yeah, he's actually going into the bad guy's lair because
There it
his
is.
two friends
It's
have been
in the-
kidnapped.
Yeah.
And yeah, and to also get the armor of God, which we never get to see the conclusion of.
Yeah, I
Whether
was
he got it or
thinking,
not.
does he put it together and it becomes all magic, or
No, it doesn't.
No. I don't remember that bit. I remember him trying to get the 3 pieces or whatever it is, but
No,
not
but
actually
then
using it.
because he don't need to use it. He's a special effect himself. He is the visual effect. He don't need no CGI.
It was that Wookiee hole.
Well, especially then, he didn't need it.
Yeah. Yeah. Because how old is he now? How is he?
He's about touching 70, I would say.
Yeah, I was going to say, so it must be around 70.
He's in his late he's in his late 60s, I think. Yeah,
All the 80s action guys are all 60, 70 now, aren't they?
I know.
Yeah.
Low. But he still looks younger than he actually is.
He does. He does look young.
And
Just can't move the same.
They probably use more makeup to actually and kind of like prosthetics to make him look older to actually play his own age. This is it though. It's like just his kind of like physical comedy, like especially mixes it with action. It's just perfect. Yeah.
Wrong one. No, wrong. I hit the wrong one. Right, there it
is. Yeah. Hey, Dutchie. Hey, Dutch. Hey, Dutch.
Yeah, I was thinking of Dutch.
Dylan.
You son of a bitch.
The Mac.
Wrong film.
I'm here now. Do it. I'm here. Do it now. I love that. I love that movie. That's just one of the most quoted movies ever.
It's gotta be, isn't it? Yeah.
No, it's like I remember. I think it was must have been in college days or somewhere. So I can't remember when it was. I went paintballing with a couple of friends of mine, and all these guys, some of these guys were doing just quoting lines from Predator. I mean, they were just because it was like kind of like a forestation, and they just yeah.
He's in the trees.
Yeah. It ain't no man.
Yeah. Genius.
Yeah, this is where he kind of does the rescue. Yeah.
Bit ahead again.
Mm-hmm.
Surely you can just kick the door in, but it doesn't look too strong.
That's true.
Uh-oh. Love triangle.
Yeah, just to kind of like, yeah, see how he lost. It's just say that I'm not going to save you. I can only save one.
Has the injection worn off?
And this is where Jackie turns on and says, "This is where I now know why, you know, she friend zoned me over you."
It's got his Rambo knife.
Oh, yeah. No. I know, it's like, who would have thought we're pretty much near the end now? It's like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why is he called Jackie in all his films?
Some of them is called Jackie. Yeah, some of them is called Jackie. That's just yeah. Just make it easy. Just to kind of like, yeah, it's just Jackie. Yeah, call him Jackie.
Jackie.
Yeah.
I think he's Jackie in Cannonball Run, and I think it's this, and there's a couple of others, I think, or it's just dubbed as Jackie.
Well, yeah. Well, actually, Dragons Forever. I think the original language version, his character is called Jackie, and but in the original export dub, his character's name was Johnny. But it looks kind of the same. It looks kind of the same when they're moving them out, so it kind of worked.
Yeah.
Jackie, Johnny. Yeah, it's kind of. Yeah, but then, mind you, they called his character Kevin in Police Story, like especially Police Story 1, 2, and 3. In the English dub, he was known as Kevin. Kevin Chan.
The Cockney goes, all right, Kevin.
Yeah.
Now, how many police stories are there? Because I always get confused.
There's 3. There's Police Story 1, Police Story 2, Police Story 3, Super Cop.
Cop, yeah.
First Strike is actually Police Story 4's First Strike.
Right, yes.
Though that's the original kind of like Police Story series.
Yeah.
But then we also have New Police Story, which is like a completely different story. And then there's Police Story 2013, or aka Police Story Lockdown, which is a different story. And yeah, I think that's it. That's the
the newer ones are serious films, aren't they? Serious.
Well, New Police Story was more of a serious action movie, whereas Police Story Lockdown, or aka Police Story 2013, was more of a kind of a crime drama than anything else.
Yeah,
there was not as much action in the movie, but it was more kind of like character driven.
Yeah, what's that say? Oh, Duel to the Death.
Duel to the Death, Clans of Intrigue. I haven't seen that film for such a long time. That was such a great movie. The Proud Twins. That's a great movie. It's a Safu Sheikh movie, which is Shaw Brothers. That's like a Shaw Brothers kind of like classic kung fu movie.
Right. What have I got coming? Oh yeah, Duel to the Death. Right. Okay. Are those the 70s ones more?
Duel to the Death is like early 80s, but it's such a brilliant movie. It's just so insane and just full on awesomeness.
Good. So that's my weekend set.
Yeah.
Oh, in the vegetable cellar.
Yep, and that's it. Yeah.
Right, here we go.
Mm-hmm.
What do we got?
Bunch of guys just eating their food.
He's got a knife. Use it.
Yep.
Uncle's about 30.
It's like, it's like, ooh. They're trying to style it well. It's like, yeah.
Is it going to be, they're all white guys standing there, and then suddenly when they come kicking at him, they'll be Asian guys?
Yes. Okay. Oh.
Nope.
Oh. Oh dear. It's like, I wouldn't want to imagine what they were going to do to this guy, considering dragging his legs by that way. It just looks really kind of like, wow. They're going to be doing some gruesome stuff to him. Like, he's going to be impaled. He's going to be flayed.
I know he's just like on the floor from
very cat-like, it's like very kind of agile.
I just face plant straight onto the floor.
I think my days of agility have kind of gone. Might need to work on them a bit more.
Yeah, I need to.
That's it. Yep.
So,
maybe
in the summer, I got some crash mats.
Yeah.
So then you'll stick on fire.
Right, it's a huge long pole and it's on fire. It's just pretty good way of using your environment and trying to kind of.
It's pretty.
Yeah.
Not light either.
to engage all these all these assailants. This is when they kind of. That's it. Just use the table. Yep, that's it. Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's
sound.
just the sound effects. It's just like
The sound of the punching. Like he wanted it.
It's like these sound effects that make them like either just flicking a cloth or like using something like just hitting a leather chair with like a
I think that's it, isn't it? Like Indiana Jones, he used a leather chair to make the punching sound.
Yeah,
a leather jacket or something. I received two. New one. Oh, that is good service.
Oh yeah, that
3
fight.
days. Yeah. Well.
Wow.
That's not bad.
Oh,
I guess they're trying to keep their physical media business.
Okay. Yeah, this bit that bam. Ooh, that must have hurt.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
We caught someone there with a hot soup.
I know. It's great. Now you can see some of these guys. You can tell they're like Chinese fighters with wigs on. Doubling for some of these European guys.
We flipped him, yeah.
There's also if you can go on YouTube, there you can watch this video called "High Upon High, Armour of Funk."
Right.
It's like a European duo that they actually did a cover of that song "High Upon High," which was sung in English by Jackie for the export dub, and they actually shot it at the locations of this actual film.
Right.
And they kind of spliced it with the footage of the actual film, and it kind of looks really cool because they actually went to these places and they actually shot the film. They like shot the music video, and I thought, wow. Because coincidentally, this film is also a huge hit in, believe it or not, in Russia. This is actually it was a huge hit. They loved this in Russia. They loved Armour of God. It was like really kind of like very popular.
You just kicked the guy off the table. Hang on, yeah.
If I was Zelensky, I think that's one way of actually getting Putin to kind of calm down. Just send him the deluxe edition of Armour of God. Say, hey, this is my gift to you. We know you guys love this movie.
Yeah.
Yep, that's it. Yep. Now this is coming up to the. Now just that flip and just kicks it. That was just so awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And here, I don't know if this was actually done on actually was that triple kick, that bicycle kick he does. I think he did that without wires as well.
I'm trying to see.
I think he did that without wires because in the film, his first Hollywood movie, which was Battle Creek Brawl, aka The Big Brawl, he actually did a triple kick without a use of any wires.
Yeah.
And I thought that's what stood out. That was one of the best moves I've seen him ever do. And even though the film itself was kind of not as accomplished as his other movies, but
I do remember.
It is a fun movie. It is a fun movie though. It's just that it wasn't the kind of the blockbuster that they expected it to be, like the way Enter the Dragon was, considering it's the same director and team that made it. But yes, you got the
that spinning flip he just did and landed on his feet.
Yep.
Christ.
That's Jackie. This is like when Jackie Chan was young, so back then he could do all these crazy things.
Took him a few times sometimes, but yeah, he could do it.
Yep, he could do it. He could hurt himself, but he'll do it.
Well,
yep. I think he was getting nicotine cravings.
Yeah, he just bounced one off a door and caught it a minute ago. Let's see. Oh, he's got two.
Yeah. Yep, that caused so many pieces of extra to hit my face, hit me in the
how
eye.
did you do that?
Exactly.
Did it
You
twice.
know, I wasted so many chewing gum. I did get it right a couple of times, but oh yep, this is the
There we go.
yeah, the Soul Sisters of Kung Fu.
Just did a jump backwards then.
And,
Close up of their boobs then.
yes, that's true. Robert Klaus was a pretty bad director. Definitely, I agree. He was
Oh,
not
okay.
not a great director. He's just someone who was lucky enough to be there at that time. I mean, if you want to see how great of a director Robert Klaus is, you can just watch the movie Jim Carter.
Hey, that's a classic.
Oh, that is just so bad. It's just such a bad movie, though. It's fun, but it's so bad.
Caucasian martial artist at his finest.
Gymnastics can be deadly.
I don't think there's a HD release of that, is there, anywhere? I don't know, there's a DVD anywhere of that
I'm not too sure. I think I did see a DVD somewhere. The remastered edition of that movie.
Rare. It was very big on VHS, I think, to the poster.
Yeah, Jim Carter. Just I remember the trailer, Jim Carter.
Yeah, I think I have a terrible DVD copy, but
yep, Bob Klaus was a schlocky director as well.
Which is Jackie's first directed film then?
First what, sorry?
Directed film by Jackie himself. Is it this?
It was The Fearless Hyena in 1979. That was the first time he had directed a movie, and yeah. But he got the full creative control for the first time on The Young Master, which was his first movie with Golden Harvest.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he just takes like a lot of hits and
yeah, a lot to the groin as well. Oh, double kick.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh yes, it is.
That's a bad film. It's good. Yes, you can believe that.
Yeah, the punch in the boobs. That's just like wow.
Oh, there's a Region 1 DVD.
Okay.
Oh, punch her in the boobs.
Yeah.
This is Armour. Armored bras. Kurt Thomas was awesome. See.
You know what's funny though is like, I think it's maybe on the Blu-ray like you can kind of focus more that like you can see how like in some of these shots where these supposed women are falling down or being hit, it's actually men. Because this scene itself, this was shot in Hong Kong.
Yeah, I guess you could play it slow speed. Oh,
she's in a Golden Harvest studio. That was, you could see, you could tell that was a man in a wig, and yeah.
Oh, yeah, you can see a wig. The hairstyle completely changes.
Exactly. But he manages to make it work as well.
Ow.
Yeah.
She goes, oh shit, yeah, she crashes through the barrier. Oh, I missed that bit, yeah. And then lands on her neck.
Well, he kicks
lands on her neck.
Yeah, he kicks her in the booty, so he's like, boom.
And then the one that jumps down, he kicks her mid.
Oh yes, Richard Norton's the bad guy in Jim Carter. Yes, I remember that now.
Oh.
Wow. I haven't seen that movie in such a long time. It's like
obviously needs a reappraisal.
I don't know. I'm not too sure. It's especially when it comes to Bob Klaus. He was not really a great director.
Not worth an hour and a half of your time.
Yeah, it's where you got the dynamite. Yeah. This is where in some of the Western markets, the title for this film was Mr. Dynamite.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm thinking that's actually pretty cool. That's a pretty cool title for like an 80s action movie, though. Mr. Dynamite.
It's not a Mr. Dynamite film, though.
Uh,
Yeah. American Ninjas. American Ninja and Jim Khan.
American Ninja again is one of those like really kind of cheesy, bad, but awesome movies. It's just the acting and everything is just so terrible, but it's just fun. It's just fun to watch.
Yeah, it's like the other night I watched the No Retreat, No Surrender sequels.
I like the first one. The first one was just fun. It's just a bad movie, but it's still fun. It's just the dialogue and such, and like.
Oh yeah, because Cynthia
It's so
Rothrock's in
funny.
the second one.
Yes, she is. Yeah.
Because they filmed it in I think Thailand
Must
or
have
somewhere.
been Thailand or Philippines, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, but of both maybe, because Van Damme didn't want to go there because of all the trouble. And then he persuaded Kurt not to do it. Yeah. And destroyed the base.
Yeah, and this was actually this whole it kind of seems very like, whoa, these explosions are just happening around him. This is without the use of any like CGI or like
because if he gets this wrong, how am I
animation.
going to put all that back? The set is literally destroyed.
Destroying the set. Yes.
As much as it's probably polystyrene rocks. Oh, yeah, of course. Sho Kosugi.
Sho Kosugi movies. Well, yeah, I remember. He had a lot of movies like anything to do with ninjas. It was him.
Because was it Black Eagle? That's advertised as a Van Damme film.
Yeah, Van Damme was the bad guy. Yeah.
But he's only in it for about 10 minutes at the most. Oh yeah, here we go. The big stunt.
The final stunt, the escape.
Hundreds of feet in the air. Oh.
Well, only for one jump, but the rest of the film was the actual the stunt itself was done in a different way.
Yeah, because you get to see he lands on it.
Yeah.
And then you see the trees where the balloon is.
Yes, that's it. That's right. Yeah.
Oh yeah, now he's 1,000,000 miles up, skydiving, and then and then Police Academy 4 ripped it off. Yeah, so you jumped from a hill, at least like 20,000 feet up.
Wow. Something like, even that itself is impressive, and then
and then land on the, because it shows this long shot where he's gonna miss it. Yeah. See him jumping on. I wonder if it would sustain the weight.
Yeah.
Here we go. The song is kicking in.
Yeah. Yeah, because that jump was when he executed that jump, that was done on like it was actually on ground. The balloon was not in the air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Magic Crystal again. Yeah, we're discussing this earlier. I haven't seen this one. I need to find that.
It's a very 80s movie. It's just the 80th of the 80s Hong Kong movies. The action, the fight choreography is awesome. It is the best thing in it are Cynthia Rothrock and Richard Norton. Yeah.
Okay, right. Sold.
The rest of the movie is hokey as hell. It's just so goofy, so silly, so stupid. But yeah, it's a fun movie.
Yeah, Jackie Chan singing in English on this one.
That was High Upon High, yeah. The original dub, yeah.
In the charts, the top 14, 1996.
Well, he was actually a very accomplished singer at the same time as well. He actually was like a very successful singing career at the same time.
Yeah, that's interesting.
This is the jump that almost killed him.
Yeah. Here it goes, just short hair. Oof, just catches branch and it goes.
He was saying how, like, in an interview where he's saying that the cameraman who was actually shooting from beneath was a
Yeah.
European cameraman, and that guy was more concerned about the camera. That's why he ran out of the way. He said if someone had actually kind of like quickly just got there and like just kind of like helped like break the landing, he probably would have been all right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but then who would have
It's-
thought that this injury would be that severe that like wow. And this is when he came back. So this is kind of like a fight, like for him to kind of come back from like almost like touching death, and then yeah,
yeah. Who'd have thought he would be around in 2022 after all
uh,
this? He's been very lucky, despite the fact he's broken every bone in his body a few times.
exactly. And yeah, and the outtakes are just so much fun.
Yeah,
You know,
shows
when
them.
you're watching a Jackie Chan movie, it's always one of the things you look forward to. It's like, oh yes, we're gonna watch the outtakes. Awesome. But then when you get like a couple of movies of his that don't have it, you're like, what a letdown.
Yeah,
No
there
outtakes?
is a couple,
What the
isn't there?
hell,
You
man?
think, oh, the outtakes. No, there is nothing.
Damn.
Because when was it? Is it the 80s when he was going to get married, but a fan killed herself on the train, under a train or something? And so he didn't.
In Japan, he
Yeah.
did get married, and the news did get leaked, and yeah, it was in Japan. She
Yeah,
actually
I still
killed herself.
remember that in the news.
And I think there was one of the fans actually came to his offices and stuff, and like outside, and tried to burn herself or something in front of
Fuck's
everyone, like commit suicide
Hmm.
because she heard that Jackie got married. Wow.
Yeah, Jackie Chan is timeless. It is, yeah.
Yeah, I would say like his best movies are from like 1978 to which is Snake and Crane Arts of Shaolin up until Drunken Master 2, which is 1994. That was his top tier. That was his top tier phase. His
Okay.
films that he made between those years, those are his best movies, like of all. I mean, he did some good stuff afterwards, like Rumble in the Bronx, First Strike, um, Mr. Nice Guy, Who Am I, Rush Hour, and all these, but they just weren't really on that level, of like what he was doing before.
Too westernized.
Mm.
Oh, did he win? Did he
Yeah,
win?
me too. He was a Lifetime Achievement Award. He won. Yeah.
Ah, that's good.
Yeah, because I remember seeing the acceptance speech some years back, and yeah, I think no one was more. I think no one was more happier than Sylvester Stallone on that day. He was just smiling and like just recording it with his phone, like, "Hey."
All right.
Yeah, coincidentally, they're really good friends as well. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Another two that should have worked together. That'd be a good.
I know initially, I think Stallone wanted him to play the role that Wesley Snipes got for Demolition Man.
Ah, yeah.
But Jackie turned it down, but then he still went to visit them on set, and that's how he kind of like became friends with Stallone.
Was it
And
when he's not playing a bad guy?
I mean, he had turned down quite a few films in Hollywood really throughout the 80s and 90s. He was offered the role of the bad guy in Ridley Scott's Black Rain.
All right.
Sato, yeah, he was supposed to play
Yeah.
Sato in that movie, and also the character of Wang, which was played by Dennis Dunn in Big Trouble in Little China. He had turned those movies down. He turned them down. Like, I'm thinking that probably would have been cool if Jackie Chan did get to make Big Trouble in Little China. That would have actually been awesome.
Yeah. Because
But then I think after The Protector, it was just like he was kind of put off from working in Hollywood for a long time.
Yeah,
So, you know what? It ain't gonna happen.
But
But then, lo and behold, after Rumble in the Bronx did well in the West, he managed to make Rush Hour, which kind of was his like, yep, he can star in Hollywood movies and make a lot of money for them.
and everyone says, well, yeah, he's been around for like 20, 30 years. I mean, he's
Oh yes, he's got a huge fan base. He's got like
not
all over the world. I mean, it's like I remember. It's like it's like, going to Pakistan. I remember seeing like, all these people. Oh yeah, you've seen this Jackie Chan movie? Then because they get the movies dubbed in their own languages over there, and they're absolutely. He's a huge star over there as well. It's like everyone kind of like knows who he is. They just love his movies. Because like my relatives from from Pakistan themselves who live there, like they're like, yeah, they all love his movies as well. They're like, yeah, we like Jackie Chan movies. I'm like, yeah, it just shows that he's like, it's just action is a universal language.
Yeah,
it's like any it doesn't. You can go to anywhere in the world, an action movie will sell because if someone does it well, then it is going to be well known and popular.
Well, comedy's visual and there's action's visual, so it does transcend languages.
Yeah, it does kind of transcend like physical humor and action. Kind of just transcends languages, and it kind of it works. And which is why he's managed to do films that have been kind of filmed themselves in different countries along the world. Like he's done quite a few films that have been filmed in different parts of the world. Like for example, Wheels on Mules was shot in Barcelona, Spain. Armour of God was like around Yugoslavia, Slovenia, and all these places. And Germany or France and such. And then the Lucky Stars films. I think My Lucky Stars was shot in like Japan, being that he had a big Japanese market. He did. Then later on, he also done films like Thunderbolt, which part of it was shot in Japan. And as well, and he's done films everywhere. It's like even Accidental Spy was shot in Turkey.
Right.
In the that was like the early 2000s, I think. Yeah, which is a pretty good movie. Yeah, that was actually quite a decent film. That was like his first kind of like return to Hong Kong movies after.
Wasn't that the one where he was going to be window clean on the two towers, the twin towers?
That was an idea that they were trying to make, supposedly, and they kind of turned it down because the plan was to shoot that movie, but then yes, that unfortunate day happened, and then that didn't really go ahead. It would have been a bit too insensitive to do something like that as well. So
I was thinking of the Tuxedo as well.
Jackie fans. Try not to mention films like. Oh.
I just realized. I got some posters of that up in the loft.
That was atrocious. I mean, the Tuxedo was really bad. Yes, he mixes his slapstick with getting ideas for stunts by Buster Keaton, Chaplin, Harold Lloyd, and all these kind of like silent movie stars. Yeah. You kind of gets the ideas from them.
Yeah, that is true. You don't often think.
No, he. I would say he is the best like physical comedian of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah, he kind of he took it to another level. It's just that, just when it comes to stunts, I mean, action stars fair enough. I mean, you've got stars like Arnie and Stallone who can kind of like be roided up with just a big machine gun. And then, trust me, they're roids. They're roids. Come on, they're roids. They've been roided up. But the thing is, it's like, you can just give them a machine gun and they just kind of shoot around and all that's it and just blow stuff up. But then Jackie Chan is like literally someone who gets into the stunts himself and does these really crazy, insane things, and that's what made him stand out from like other action stars. He was not, huge and muscular and like henched up and all that, but he was actually really kind of like athletic, and he's just fearless. He's absolutely fearless. You could actually just go ahead and just do it. If it means crashing through some glass and jumping down, yep, I'll do that. I'll crash through some glass and I'll just land on like no padding or something like that. He'd do it. He'd do it.
Yeah. Bless him.
Yeah, it's like I remember seeing the audio commentary on the Fearless Hyena Blu-ray by Mike Leader and Arne Venema, where they talked about how like it was Mike Leader had actually gone to visit Jackie because Mike Leader's a casting director and also kind of like token white guy in Hong Kong movies, and who just plays like just a one-note bad guy and henchman and stuff. and he's become a casting director in Hong Kong movies, and he worked on, I think he's worked on like one of the Raid films as well, or both. He's worked on Raid 1 and Raid 2, and like also films around Asia. And he was saying how, like, because he's known Jackie for quite a while, and he went to visit Jackie Chan at one of his when he moved house. He went to visit his new place, and Jackie kind of showed him around. And he went to Jackie's bedroom, like he showed him the bedroom, and there was a ladder next to Jackie Chan's bed. And he goes, Mike's like, "Hey, why have you got a ladder there?" He goes, "Oh, because sometimes my back hurts so bad that I have to like literally pull up myself just so I can get on my feet."
Oh dear.
and he said that he's got so many injuries that, like, if he has to work out every day, he has to train every single day, because the moment he would stop training, if he gets into just a lazy habit, he'd probably end up in a wheelchair. Because he's had all these injuries that he's had over his career. He's never sat down and he's never recovered properly. He was just kind of like just rest for maybe 1 or 2 days, and then that's it. Or yeah, not even on that day, just think, oh, you know what, I can still walk. And all those injuries that he's kind of like amounted over the years, he never sat down and let himself heal correctly. And then that's why it's like, if he stopped working out now, he'd probably be in a wheelchair from all that stuff he's kind of damage he's done to his body. And I'm thinking, wow, that's dedication. That's dedication to that. Wow, I mean, I'm aiming to kind of continue kind of like being physically active up until my 50s by far. When I'm maybe even past my 50s, I want to be like, still, being able to kind of like run a couple of miles without losing my breath, and and just be generally healthy. That's all.
Be the dad at the school sports day, running into the race.
Oh, I'm already the dad. I'm already the. I mean, it's like according to my daughter, she's like, when we're going on sports day with my daughter, it's like this is prior to COVID. She's like, yeah, my daddy's got big muscles and he knows kung fu, But mind you, I was a lot more,
Get those guns out.
Yeah, put the guns out. Still there, not bad. I was a lot more just a lot more toned up, and I was just a lot more kind of physically active, and and everyone said, Eliza's dad has got the he's got the muscles. Eliza's dad's got the muscles. I'm like, oh, here we go. So I'm there around these kids, and they're saying, "Oh yeah, can you do this? Can you do that? Can you lift that much? Can you lift that much?" But it would push my daughter. It would push my daughter to work even harder, like in the activities. Like, I'm going to push myself and do it, and I'm there just cheering out. Yeah, go on, that's my girl.
Right.
Yeah, I think I remember one of the years I didn't go, and she was really upset. She goes,
she can't show off.
I know. That's what happens, because she still lives with my ex. So yeah.
Cool.
My feline friend.
Yeah, some attention.
I think he wants to go out, or he wants to eat. One of them.
Right.
One or the other. Right. Well, this has been fun. This has been fun. Yeah.
That's the whole point.
And maybe we might do another one sometime soon.
Yep.
And
Okay,
of course, I won't be able to do one throughout April and such, because I'll be fasting with the whole Ramadan stuff.
No problem.
Yeah.
That's it for May, though.
Yeah, sometime in May.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll be in touch.
But I know one of the days you've got a wedding to go to, so depends. We'll have to let you know. I'll have to let you know which one, but yeah, definitely. Well,
we'll work it out.
I look forward to seeing more from you then.
No problem.
I still have the I think it's the No Retreat No Surrender one that I've seen. Your watch party, viewing party with Tariq.
Oh yes.
And I think I need to watch the one that he did for Fright Night.
Yes.
I absolutely love Fright Night. I think it's possibly my favorite vampire movie. And I think is I've actually got I've got the second one on Blu-ray as well. So I'm going to be doing like a review of like both and both movies and the Blu-ray soon. So definitely, yeah. But I'm going to check your the viewing party out as well. Definitely.
Okay, no problem.
That's the one I'm going to. And yes, Dutch, we will be doing another one. Definitely, we will be doing another one of these.
Yeah, it's written. It's down on the internet, so that means it's a fact.
Okay. I think I better get going now because my feline wants to probably go out now. So he doesn't attack me. He's very kind of like he becomes very kind of needy and like very kind of like gives that little cute kitten eyes, and I was like, oh yeah, here he goes. You know, he knows how to work me. Okay then.
All right then.
Take care. Take care, mate. Bye.
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 And bye everyone else.